Hey, hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Now here we want to talk about this fraction. So we want to decompose it right into partial fractions. So this is just example 3. Now look at this. This is different from what we've done the other times, right? This is 2 over x cubed minus 4x. So that means that the degree of the denominator is just 3 and the degree of the numerator is just 0. So this is a proper fraction. Okay, so we can just decompose it. But first, we need to get the factors of the denominator. Now, to get factors, okay, we need to do this. Equate the denominator here to 0, right? And from here, we can get the factors. So what I would like to do is to see that x is common, all right, on the two terms on the left hand side. So we'll just factor out x. So 3. Actually, x is the highest common factor. Okay, so that is why I'm factoring that. X cubed, it will be x squared, because I've taken one of the x multiple out. So that'll be 4 equals to 0. Okay, so you heard that the sum of two terms is giving you 0. It means that at least one of them must be 0. So if something multiplies with the other thing and your result is 0, means that it's either this one is 0, either x is equal to 0, or x squared minus 4, that is just 0, right? Okay, so x is equal to 0, there is nothing else to solve for. We've gotten the value of x already. Now, okay, let's finish this up. So we have that x squared minus 4 is equal to 0. This is now quadratic, okay? So we can go ahead and solve for the value of x. Well, we are not actually solving for the value of x. We can go ahead and factorize this, alright? Now, here is the deal. To factor this is x squared and this is negative 4, okay? Well, 4 on its own is a perfect square, which is 2 squared, alright? And this is a difference of 2 squares. So you know what we enter with? We enter with x minus 2 times x plus 2, right? That is the first term minus second term times the first term plus the second term. Reason being that to solve for x, we equate this to 0. So we move x to the right hand side. That will become x squared equals to 4. So if you take the square root of both sides, you have that x is equals to positive or negative 4, right? So that is for the positive or negative square root of 4. Like, this is what I mean. It implies that x squared is equals to positive 4, meaning that x will become positive or negative square root of 4, which is just positive or negative 2, alright? Positive or negative 2. So if you consider the positive case, you'll be having that x is equals to positive 2 or x is equals to negative 2. Okay, so we move this to the left hand side. Okay, that will become negative 2. That is by subtracting 2 from both sides. And here we'll be having 0. And we move this other one to this left hand side. That will become positive 2. That is just like adding 2 to both sides. That will become x plus 2 equal to 0. So that's why we are having x minus 2 times x plus 2 will give us x squared minus 4. So right there we talk about this as a factor or as factors of x squared minus 4, right? So these are the factors of x squared minus 4. And then maybe there's something important I have to tell you. If x equals to alpha is a solution to a certain polynomial equation, okay, it implies that x minus alpha is a factor. Okay, I believe you've learned this already when we're dealing with polynomials. So if x is equals to alpha is a solution to a certain polynomial equation, right, it means that x minus alpha is a factor. So we can shrink that a little bit for you. It means that x minus alpha is a factor. That is just by subtracting alpha from both sides. That will be x minus alpha equals to 0. So x minus alpha is a factor. So that means that if we want to take x is equals to 0, that means that x minus 0 is a factor, which is x is a factor. Okay, that is just that. That is just for that. Now we were actually considering this. Okay, so since x squared minus 4 is equal to x minus 2 times x plus 2, it means that the denominator here is equals to x times x squared minus 4, and x squared minus 4 is x. This is x squared minus 4 is x minus 2 times x plus 2. All right, so we just put this down, the x. So these are these are another way of representing this particular cubic polynomial, right? Okay, so each of these are the factors of this one, and look at them, they are all linear factors. So that is just that. It is very simple to get the factors. Okay, I was just doing a lot of explanation, and I even wrote this down. Look at how it is plentiful. So that is just it. Now it is plenty. It is very, very plenty. Okay, so here I'm going to put down, I'm going to equate this to 2 over I'm going to put that down as 2 over x times x minus 2 times x plus 2, alright? Okay, so I'll be working with this new expression, but they are the same, okay? Just that one gives us linear factors, which we want to work with. Okay, and since that is the case, it means that 2 over x times x minus 2 times x plus 2 can be written as, well, these are now 3 factors and all of them linear. So I'll put down the first factor. These are now 3 factors. So I'll put down the first factor, the second factor, and then the third one, x plus 2. Okay, so since this is just linear, I'll reduce the power of the numerator by 1. That will become a constant term, another constant term. We are just following the English alphabet, right? So this is just C, like that. So we have to solve for A, B, C. Right, so this is going to be pretty simple. Okay, very quickly, I'll go ahead and say which value of x will make x to be 0. If x is equal to 0, then x will be equal to 0. It's just very, very obvious, like that. So if x is 0, then the denominator will be 0, okay? So we just substitute 0 for x by covering the x up, which is just the first factor. We substitute 0 for x into the other factors. So we'll be having, we substitute 0 for x into the other factors and also x in the numerator. But here there is no x in the numerator, so we're not going to do that. So we'll be having 0 minus 2, which is just negative 2, times, this is times, 0 plus 2, which is just positive 2. So at the bottom we're having negative 2 times positive 2, which is negative 4. Okay? So on the top we talk about 2 divided by negative 4. That is 2 divided by negative 4, which is negative 1 over 2. Okay, so that is negative 1 over 2 for A. So A is negative 1 over 2. So to solve for B, we need to make the denominator to be 0. That is x minus 2 equals to 0, which means that x is equal to 2. So we're going to cover that factor, x minus 2, and we plug in 2 for the x in the other factors. So that will be 2 here, times 2 plus 2, that will be 4. So 4 times 2, which was gotten from this point. So we are going to have 8 in the denominator. So 2 divided by 8, that is 1 over 4 for B, right? And again for C, you can do that, right? Well, I think that will just be negative 1 over 4. Well, let's just take that quickly. Negative 2 here. So negative 2, okay, we are plugging negative 2 for x, that will give us 0. So we take negative 2, cover that up. Negative 2 minus 2, that is negative 4. Then times, this is negative 2 minus 2, that is negative 4, times negative 2. So that is going to be, okay, so This is negative 2. Okay, so that is going to be positive 8. So 1 over 8 is going to be 1 over 4. Okay, the positive case. Right, that is it. Negative 2, negative 2, negative 4, and then okay, so that is just it for the value of c. So we can rewrite this as 2 over x cubed minus 4x to be equal to, this is negative 1, negative 1 over 2 times x plus 1 over 4 times x minus 2 plus 1 over 4 times x plus 2. Okay, so that was a very nice example. Okay, all right. Now I'll be talking about fractions with repeated. No, let me not deal with repeated first. I'll be talking about fractions with irreducible quadratic factors. Okay, this was for linear factors, irreducible quadratic factors. Okay, so let's move back to that real quick.